Hello, I'm Lizzie.
And I'm Izzy, and we need help.
Each week we stumble through a new book, method, or concept that brings us one step closer to being our best self.
Yes, we make fun of ourselves.
And others.
But mostly just ourselves. So here's to not taking self-help quite so seriously.
Welcome to the Afterbirth. Afterbirth.
So Lizzie was just saying that she has Saharan dust.
It's
in her
a
house.
dust that comes from Africa.
I'm like, how are you? She's like, I have Saharan dust. I'm like, that sounds like a paint color, like Benjamin Moore, Saharan dust.
And I said, everything sounds like a paint color if you're brave enough.
Even after birth.
Afterbirth. That paints a picture.
Yeah. So
this is my favorite part. This is my favorite.
Yeah,
favorite to do is Afterbirth because we get to talk about how wrong we were.
Yeah, and we get to like truly banter.
Banter.
We get to banter even more. So we're doing the Afterbirth for not getting shit done, which is, we reviewed Getting Stuff Done or Getting Things Done by David Allen. And first point in our Afterbirth was that David Allen was institutionalized. He had that in his Wikipedia page. And I just thought that was a fancy name for rehab. So we got into this. What were rehabs called in the past? When did they start calling them rehabs? The timeline of rehabs. And I found out some really interesting stuff. So the first rehabs were super interesting. Was in 1750, early 1800s, American Indians, because the white man came over, brought alcohol. And there was alcoholics started becoming a thing in the tribes. So
is this alcoholic thing an Indian thing? Is this an American Indian problem?
Not only, but but yeah.
Because my grandma used to work on a Hopi Indian reservation, and she would say, she would drive to Winslow. I don't know if that's actually the place she drive to, but she said she couldn't pick up men because they were often coming back drunk. Because Indians didn't have alcohol before the white man.
The white man brought it over. That's what they used to trade and stuff like that. They got them addicted to alcohol. So what happened was that various Native American tribes had abstinence-based Native American revival movements. They used native healing practices to treat alcoholism. And they sort of connected with this is where the word higher power comes from in the 12-step recovery thing, to contact their ancestors, to help them with the alcoholism. So that, I thought that was super, super interesting.
Very interesting. And I love that idea of rehab, where you go in and a full, I don't know. I just like the idea of being in a TP. I feel like there's going to be some sweating involved.
Like a sweat lodge. Yeah.
I would love that.
A sweat narrative, like a sweat ceremony. So
if anybody knows about a sweat lodge nearby Naples, Florida, I want one.
Okay. Noted. Duly noted. That's put that down on the list for future presents.
I think Florida is a sweat lodge. The whole thing.
You're sweating right now.
I'm freaking sweating.
So in the 1800s, lodging homes, and they were called homes for the fallen, inebriate homes. They opened in the 1800s, and these homes provided short voluntary stays that included non-medical detoxification, isolation from drinking culture, moral reframing, and immersion in these newly formed sobriety fellowships. So the first inebriate homes opened in Boston in the 1850s. And they were modeled after state-operated insane asylums, but they were for addicts.
The word. Okay.
Yeah, so I thought that was super interesting. I learned something.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Now I'm picturing the movie Departed, which is the extent of what I know about Boston.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I loved that movie so much.
Have you
So
been to
good.
Boston?
I've never been to Boston.
You've never been? Oh, it's
Do you
great.
wanna meet me there?
Let's go.
All
Yes.
right.
Oh,
Awesome.
yes. So, second point on our afterbirth is how old is David Allen? Take a guess.
I'm looking at the answer, so I don't feel good about it, but
Okay.
75 years old.
What a wonderful guess. Yes. And his birth date? Can you guess that?
He's Capricorn. I know that at December 28th, 1945.
That's correct.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is David Allen. Um, okay. So that's that. Uh,
We have nothing to say
we have
about
nothing
that.
to say about that. So that's just,
And
interesting.
I don't know why I cared about that back then, but now
Yeah.
I just don't care about that at all.
Okay, then we went on to we're talking about organization, and we went on to this 4 quadrants where it's important, urgent, not urgent, important, not important, urgent, and not important, not urgent. These 4 quadrants. And that is called the Eisenhower method. And
Did Eisenhower have anything to do with it?
it stems from a quote attributed to Dwight D. Eisenhower, where he said, I have 2 kinds of problems, the urgent and the important. The urgent are not important, and the important are never urgent. So he actually he didn't claim this insight as his own, but he attributed it to an unnamed former college president. So who knows where this quote came from? Dwight D. Eisenhower was requoting. So using this,
Oh, often like you requoted and like
yeah,
throughout your entire school history.
exactly. So using the Eisenhower decision principle, these tasks are evaluated using the criteria what is important, unimportant, and what is urgent and non-urgent. And then
Right.
they're placed in the according quadrants. So there's 4 of those. So yeah,
Okay. And I love that. I want to say it was core.
core is something else, and that's for
Okay.
maybe another afterbirth. Yeah.
We always need an afterbirth of the afterbirth of the afterbirth.
Afterbirth. So then moving on, we had tickler file. What the hell exactly is a tickler file?
And we thought it should be some sort of sexual uh what do you think? Hey baby, would you tickler file me?
Yeah, it does sound like that, doesn't it?
It's like pedophile and tickle
Tickler
together.
file. Yeah, it's oh
I
yeah.
hate it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate it.
Oh,
I hate
oh
it
yeah.
worse now.
Yeah, I hate it worse
I
now.
hate my brain.
So the tickler file is like a system where it's like 43 different files for whatever 43 is like the magic number. And there's like dates and times for the future. So whatever you have to get done on whatever day, it sounds actually, if you have a filing system, you receive something and you put it in the tickler file for that day. So then on the day you just pull it out and think like, oh, here, this is what I have to do. The reason it's called a tickle file, do you want to know why it's called a tickler file?
Yes, I do. Of course I do.
You use the system to send reminders to your future self and tickle your memory.
Okay, I hate being tickled so badly.
Yeah.
Like it's to a level I don't know who hurt me. I mean, it like drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It's such a terrible feeling.
I don't like it either.
Yeah.
I've never who likes it?
Who likes
Does
it? I
anyone
don't
likes it?
know.
But there are people who like it.
Like it. Like there's people, there's a chat room with these people, no?
I don't want to know anything about it. It makes me very uncomfortable to talk about it.
I suggest
I get the icks when I talk
I
about
get the
it.
icks. I feel like there's a uncle involved. There's like it's bad.
Yeah, I don't like it. Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's move on to disc profiling, which we covered a little bit, but it's basically just to our
It's
listeners.
amazing.
It's a personal assessment tool, and it describes human behavior in various situations. And it's sort of like I wouldn't say it's personality. It's more like a human behavior tool. And there's 4 of them, 4 different noted behaviors, and everyone is a mix of 2 or 3 of them usually.
Mhm.
So there's D, which is dominant. I, which is inspiration. S is stability or steadiness, and C is compliant. So somebody who like follows the rules. Yeah. So dominant
Oh,
is usually like the boss making all the decisions. I is like the cheerleader, great, wonderful. S,
yep,
stability, steadiness. They're very cautious, usually good workers. They like instructions,
yep.
and cautious or compliant. They like rules. They like Excel spreadsheets. They like everything super organized. So
And
that's
when I did it, it was dominant, inspiring, steady, and conscientious.
conscientious. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. I
Maybe
mean,
they
it
just
could
tweak
be,
that.
yeah,
It's the same thing.
same thing, same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's the disc profile, and you can be up to 3, 4. It's you probably
And
have
you're
schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder. You have 4.
you're fucked up if you have more than 3. But so you're dominant, inspiring. I'm dominant, inspiring. What's Machek?
I think he's dominant, conscientious.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason's definitely steady and conscientious, but I do think he's a psychopath because he can be all 4.
Okay. I mean, I think
Yeah.
everyone has times where they can be all 4, but the way it was described to me is, and I love this because I used to work for this company. So they
Yeah.
would say, um, you know, it's how do you naturally swim? I'm going to ask you this question. How do you naturally swim? When you go into water, what's your stroke that you kind of always go with?
I go in up to my belly button, pee, and then get out.
If you were thrown out of a boat, what's the stroke that you would say?
I would go under and get directly there. Like I would
Okay.
swim fast.
The froggy, right?
Yeah.
Is that the stroke that you would use, the frog?
I think so. Yeah. I
Okay.
think so. Whatever is the fucking quickest because I shouldn't be in there.
Okay. So what they talked about in this was you can learn all these other strokes. You can learn backstroke, you can learn whatever this is, the crawl, you can learn the butterfly, you can learn all these strokes, and you can actually swim quite well with these strokes. But if
Mhm.
you're taken out into the middle of the ocean and somebody just throws you overboard, the stroke that you go to naturally, that's like your natural
Okay.
style. So everyone has their
Yeah.
natural style. You can take on other swimming styles, but you're going to have your own. Your
Okay.
natural
I
one that you
love it.
kind of, go to.
Yeah.
Your
I
go-to
love it.
style. And
What's
that's
yours? Just out of pure curiosity. Like mine is the
I
froggy, the fastest.
froggy
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. I like
And
that.
then finally,
I have 0 steady or conscientious
I have
or
I have 0 of
compliant.
those too. I have
I'm
0 of
so
those too.
like I lack those so hard.
Yeah.
And so they want you to surround yourself with steady and conscientious people if you're dominant and inspiring. But I see that I hurt their feelings a lot.
Well, the steady, the S's, they're very much people person, but they're like a softer type of people person. Like the I is like center of attention, no. And the steady people are more like the
Mm.
support crew, where they're,
Yeah.
they're like, they're there. And we tend to hurt those people's feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. And then with the conscientious or compliant people, I just absolutely offend them and enrage them because so you're supposed to surround yourself with these people, but they don't like you.
I don't think it's in a work environment, it's good to have a mix. You don't want all of one style. So it's really good to have a
Right.
mix of people so you get all sorts of talents. So I think that's what they're talking about. And
Okay.
yeah, and so I remember I worked at a place where I worked with a girl and she was C. So everything was in writing. That's how she preferred to communicate, and I preferred to communicate by speaking. So we
Yeah.
were in an open space, and I'd be like, "Hey, blah, 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 blah," and she would write me back an email. And I'm like, "Hey," and I would answer her speaking, and she would write me back an email. So it was like very
I
funny.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
All right. And the
Okay.
last point on our wonderful afterbirth is our saboteurs. We talked about these saboteurs. So these are the little demons inside of the demons that
Those
mess us
diamonds.
up. So this is taken from, I did a course in positive intelligence. And it was this guy, Shirzad. I can't remember his full name. So that's gonna be
Look it up, people.
we're
Look
gonna
it up.
do it in Afterbirth. But he talks about these saboteurs. He says the main one is the judge. So the judge is this voice inside your head that tells you, it berates you for making mistakes. It
You
tells you you're
can't do
never going to
it.
be good enough. It's just this inner critic,
Yeah.
the inner critic. But then the judge has like there's a host of smaller saboteurs that are very specific in nature. So there's the
Okay.
controller. This is a person who needs to have control of all things. And I have a friend like this. We went to his house for a party. He told everyone where they were going to be sitting. He told everyone at what point they were going to be eating. He was telling people
Are you
what.
calling me a he right now?
No, he was telling people what
Okay.
sauces they needed to eat with what. This is the controller.
Yeah,
This is the
I
controller.
have that guy. I have that inside me.
Restless is one of them. Restless is this person who constantly is changing jobs, has a million ideas. This is like ADHD person. They can't sit still. They can't do one thing. They have to be doing a million things at once.
Are you calling me they now? Okay, that's cool.
There's the stickler, perfectionist, but like perfectionist, never lets it all hang out. Just very, very, if something is not absolute, like a document is not absolute, all the T's crossed, I's dotted, forget it. Yeah.
Been there.
The pleaser. This is a
Honestly,
person.
can you have
Yeah.
all of these? I'm stressed out. This is making me think, can you have all of these?
You can have all of these. And I think we should do an episode just on saboteurs, which we might do in
Okay.
a few episodes because it's really interesting and it's a
Okay.
pretty short read.
Okay.
So we can take a test and see which ones are dominant with us. I think I already know, but because everyone has a small percentage of all of these. But there's
Okay, good.
just like in the disc file, in the disc system, there's one that's a dominant one.
Okay.
So we have the pleaser. This is like the people pleaser.
I love her.
She's great.
She's amazing.
The avoider. I have this one. Problem isn't there. Problem doesn't exist.
Don't make eye contact with it.
It'll
Don't
just
check
go away if you ignore it, right?
Don't check your balance.
That's the avoider. There's the victim. So this one is, woe is me. I'm the victim. I don't have much of that.
I don't have that one. I don't have that one.
No.
I don't think.
I don't.
I did once.
used to. Yeah, I used to. Hypervigilant, that is one who is constantly scanning for threats. Like so afraid of taking risks because what is going to go wrong? They're always looking to see what's going to go wrong. I have zero of that.
Okay, my cat, we have a little cat. We call her name is Biscuit, but we call her Fraidy Katie.
Yeah.
Because she's terrified at all times. She's looking for threats. And when she does, she's got these big button eyes and she looks just like my sister Katie. So we call her Fraidy Katie. And she is like terrified of everything.
Yeah. Hypervigilant people, like very distrusting. They're always seeing what can go wrong. Like what's going to go wrong? When is the other shoe going to drop? Hyperachiever, these people are exhausting. They're always wanting to be the winner, the best. Their self-worth comes from achieving stuff, which is that's to me exhausting.
I know a couple of them and I can tell you this, they really have no idea how bad it makes them look. To me, I think like when I am around someone like that and they are constantly like at all times winning, they really look like a loser.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just exhausting. It's like, yeah, they always need to win. They get really, really upset if they lose.
Yeah, I think that like high achieving athletes can be like that. It seems like if you see somebody who has gone really far in like a huge corporation, they have to be like that.
Yeah.
You have to kind of be there. I don't think that people who don't have that will put up with corporate bullshit.
Yeah.
Because they give you like a fucking gold star for everything.
Well, that's actually hyperachiever. Yeah, they like the gold star. They want to achieve as many gold
I
stars as
love
possible.
those gold stars.
Yeah.
And that's what these, Fortune 500 plus companies are built on, is these people.
Yeah. Last one, hyper rational. So this is one who's, I wouldn't say devoid of emotion, but the rational thinking is definitely trumps emotion when it comes to these people. So I had a boss like this. Like, he just was not connected to the emotional side at all. Everything had to be in an Excel, and it had to just like make sense. There's a new movie coming out. I don't know if you saw the previews for it. It's about I think it might be about an actuary or a statistician or a mathematician where
baby.
where he it's about
our type.
He comes up with a formula for giving the 9/11 victims compensation.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I think Michael Keaton is in it. It's his newest movie, and it's just coming out. So, and I think he's approaching it completely rationally, and it's obviously a very emotional situation. So, it might be an interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll have to watch that
flick. But those are the saboteurs. So
I will say, because I'm so emotionally driven and so like instinct driven, like rational people disturb me sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Yeah, we have to do that.
Yeah, we'll do it as an episode, because then we could take the test. We can see which ones we are, and then we could see.
I would love to do that.
Cool. Well, that's all we got for the Afterbirth.
I'll be avoiding that conversation. Like, you be the real stickler, okay? And make me do it.
I can't. I'm an avoider and a pleaser. I just want everything to be great.
Yeah, I'll control that we do it. I'll be restless until we do. I'll be the stickler. Yeah, I'm a pleaser too.
Yeah.
I used to avoid a lot. Like money. Money was a big one that I would avoid.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of still do. Shit. All right. Shit.
All right, love. I will see you later.
I love you. See you. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Rate and follow us if you like us. If you don't, please don't.
And come visit us at www.theweneedhelppodcast.com. There you can find show notes, links for books. You can join Audible, which is, how we actually read our books. We listen to them, and we have special exclusive content just for you. Also, feel free to subscribe to our Patreon account. That's where you can support us financially, because we need it. And it can be anywhere from $1 to $100 billion a month, whatever you can afford. And the link to our Patreon account is www.patreon, and that's spelled patreon.com/We Need Help Podcast. And you can support us on there. We would really appreciate it, because we do need help.
Awesome. And we will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Thanks, loves.
Bye.
Bye.